My Lupus Living Room is a place to listen to the stories of ordinary, everyday people who are not afraid to share the struggles and successes of living with a chronic illness called lupus. These brave Lupians put it all out there to bring us all in. We celebrate people living with lupus. My name is Suzanne. I am a mom, a wife, a business owner, and the CEO of the Lupus Foundation of America's Great Ohio chapter, and a whole lot more. But most of all, I have lupus. My purpose and my passion are to help other people with lupus. For me, lupus was a lonely, miserable, misunderstood disease, and I'm here to tell you that today it doesn't have to be. I want to talk more about the things we do not normally talk about. Since lupus impacts mostly women, my Lupus Living Room will have a focus on what it's like to be a woman living with this mysterious, unpredictable disease that has no cause or cure. I know that many would love to connect with others that have lupus. These women are fearless and have extraordinary stories of survival. I'm excited to welcome my not-so-famous guests, and with their inspiring stories that offer hope and inspiration to fellow Lupians. I believe this project will not only create awareness about lupus, but offer encouragement to those listening. Remember, there is no I in the word lupus, but there is the word us. The Lupus Foundation of America, Great Ohio chapter is here for you. For your chance to share your story and visit with me, you can reach out to me at Suzanne at Lupus Greater Ohio or call 1-888-NO-LUPUS. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hi there. Welcome to my Lupus Living Room. This is Suzanne Tierney from the Lupus Foundation of America's Greater Cleveland chapter. I have a real sense of urgency to speak with you today. I want to share some good information that I think is going to be real helpful. As always, everything we say here is about education. Our intention is never to treat your lupus, but life does give us learning lessons. And to my left, I have Adrienne Fernandez. Many of you know Adrienne. She holds me up a lot of times. She's been with the lupus chapter here in Ohio for probably over a decade. Can you imagine that? She doesn't look that old. But she's going to share an interesting episode in her life that has recently happened to her that I think you'll find valuable. And to my right is Rita Piccin. How did I do?
Piccin.
And she is our head lead patient navigator. And she's also a registered nurse. And together, I think we have some information that you're going to find useful. So, Adrienne,
Yes.
how are you today?
Well, today I'm doing just fine.
Well, you look fabulous in
Thank you.
blue. She doesn't
Yes.
usually wear blue, and I don't usually
No.
wear caramel. But it's a pretty fall weather day, and we're
Mm-hmm.
celebrating birthdays. We have a lot to celebrate around here. But recently, Adrienne was sick. Okay. And Adrienne does have lupus. So, Adrienne, share what happened to you in the last couple months.
Sure. So it was just about 2 months ago. My family, we were on vacation and we believe we got COVID from the plane. So, it was interesting that my husband, his lasted about a week, though he's had some residual cough. My daughter, who had more recently had the vaccine, did not get it, even though she was in very much close quarters with us for 2 weeks. And my other daughter got it mildly. Mine was a little bit more rough. I was not hospitalized, which is the goal of the vaccine. So that's wonderful. I didn't end up in the hospital. But I did end up getting a pretty significant cough, which I do have some lung involvement with my lupus. So that definitely, I think, played a part. And I also have asthma. So I think that impacted me. I'm still kind of residually coughing, and my voice obviously is still a little bit scratchy. But I got an ear infection. I haven't had a fever in a very, very long time, over 2 decades, and I did get a fever. It was like my joint and bone pain, which is typical with my lupus. It was like 48 hours of that very, very intensely. So it was very uncomfortable, and there was a lot of fatigue and everything else. But again, I stayed out of the hospital, so that's good. But I'm still not. I lost all sense of smell and taste, so I'm still not 100%. But I'm getting there. It's been a little over 2 months. So still working on recovering. Oh, and I got an ear infection. And at this point in time, I still haven't regained 100% of my hearing, hoping to get that back, but still dealing with that as well. So
Wow.
it's been a long
So
time.
that was a wonderful vacation you went
Yeah, it was a
on.
terrible vacation.
Yeah. So Adrienne,
Yes.
we tease Adrienne all the time. She's the doctor's wife.
Mm.
Okay, she's married to this wonderful physician, and interesting, you'd have thought he would have saw this coming. All right, but he was the first one who got sick.
He was the very first one who got sick, and it was 36 hours after our plane ride. And we're positive we got it on the plane ride. Yeah, 36 hours later, he started coming down with, in the beginning, what was interesting, and I still feel awful about this, is we probably transmitted it to people because in the very beginning, it was very much like a very mild cold. But then about, I don't know, 2 days in, it really started, 2 to 3 days in, it really started to get intense. So it went very quickly from mild cold to fever, body chills, all of that. So it really flipped you know, itself on us quickly.
And it hit him differently, didn't? Was he on the beach? Something happened.
He was on the beach, and unfortunately, he ended up what we think was probably like a febrile seizure, febrile. I think it's febrile seizure, because we didn't really realize that he had a fever. We were on vacation. We didn't have our thermometer. I was putting my hand on the back of his head because he kept saying, "Do I have a fever?" And I'm like, "I don't think so," because it was a low grade fever and he was outside during the day. So I thought, how you're laying in the sun and you feel warm? I thought, well, it's just you've been out in the sun. But in fact, he did have a fever and it went up very high. And unfortunately, that's what happened. But it was very traumatic, but we got past it and he's fine.
Scary stuff.
But scary stuff. So, I think everybody has to realize that it's still around and that it still impacts people and to use precaution. And, we do know better than to go on a plane without a mask, but we thought, well, the numbers weren't very high yet, that kind of thing. We thought, oh, we're okay. And we waited to get our updated vaccine because we wanted to get the new one. So we're still waiting for the new one for us to get it. So we thought, well, we're not going to get another vaccine and then have to get another vaccine in 2 months. But in retrospect, I probably would have done that.
So today, if we're on the plane, caution to you
Mask.
all, mask up, wash your hands, wash your hands. So this new COVID, so Rita, does this new season of COVID, does it have a different name?
So, the variants that are circulating right now are part of the Omicron lineage. So, Omicron came about last year, but the virus does mutate and it changes its chemical structure. And the variants are sort of like fifth or sixth generation grandkids of the original Omicron, if you want to think of it that way. So, the vaccine that was developed does cover most of the variants that are currently out at this point. They don't cover it 100% because there have been some mutations, but they do cover a lot of the variants that are out right now. And even though someone may have gotten a vaccine last year, it is definitely worthwhile getting the vaccine this year because it covers the variants that are circulating right now. The vaccine from last year did cover the variants, the type of virus that was circulating back then.
So if we got it last year, can we get it again this year?
Yes, you can. You may get it again this year.
Is it like the flu
Did you
vaccine?
get it?
Yeah.
Did
No,
you
because
get
we
it?
were waiting for the new one.
But did you get COVID in the during the height? Of
We've never
COVID?
had COVID until this year
Really.
because we've always been very safe. We're safe. We're very much a prevention family. My husband works with immunocompromised patients and I'm immunocompromised. So we always are very, very careful about things.
Yeah.
And the one time we're not. So don't make that mistake.
Wow. So you didn't have it the first time.
We've never had COVID
Did
until
you
this
have
year,
it the
to our
first-
knowledge.
I have still, neither myself nor my husband have had COVID. And we've been
Wow.
very careful too. We do travel overseas. And not only do we wear masks on the plane, but we wear masks as soon as, we put them on before we get to the airport because standing in line in the airport,
That's the worst
in a
part.
conference,
Yeah.
at a conference, at a concert, anywhere there is enclosed areas and a lot of people, you are at higher risk for catching the virus.
What's
Any
interesting
virus.
is we found out later I can't tell you the number of people that said to me, got it from a plane, got it from a plane.
Yes.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
number of people was I was very surprised how many people got it from airplanes afterwards.
Mhm.
Doctors telling us, oh, the 2 times I got it, it was on an airplane.
Yeah. So the intention isn't just scary about
Mm-mm.
this, it's just what other people are sharing with us.
Yeah.
So the reason I felt it was important to have this conversation is because just here in the office, and I have a very small staff, three of my people have gotten COVID. They didn't get it from each other.
Mm-mm.
Okay. They were out, they were about, she was on vacation. The other one has a little kid. His wife works in a hospital. The other one, and then their whole families get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just impacting you, it's impacting your family. And then the question is, if the caregiver gets sick, who's taking care of the lupus patient? So I really want you to be very careful. There is an uptick in this in the greater Cleveland area.
Yes.
I don't know
It's
about
all
the
over.
whole state,
It's
but
all
all
over.
over
Mm-hmm.
there is an uptick. It is the fall time, and these things seem to rise during the fall. And plus, we have other flus that are surfacing. So, what do we do with these vaccines? Now, look, for years I was, I'm a lot older than most, okay? And for years, vaccines just weren't on my calendar. They were like, no, no, no. Things have changed through the years, and now they're more appealing or acceptable for lupus patients. And my conversation with various physicians is we're better to take it than not. The consequences could be worse. So there are a couple things. So, Adrienne, you want to take it right now. You're on. So, Adrienne does have lupus. I do have lupus, just to clarify that. And most of you should know that. But you had no you're going to get the vaccine,
Yes.
so do you have to do any steps prior to it, and is the vaccine out yet?
The
It's,
vaccine is out, but
yes.
there has been some difficulty in scheduling appointments and actually getting access. So, going through your physician and talking to your physician, if you're hesitant for whatever reason, the best advice that we can give you is to always talk to your physician. In general, the advice is to get the vaccine, especially if you have autoimmune disease like lupus. But again, each case is individual. You should talk to your physician. If you are on medications for your lupus, you also need to talk to your physician on whether or not you need to hold your medicines, depending on what they are, before you get the vaccine and then restarting your medications. So always talk to your physician. In general, it's better to get the vaccine than not.
Yeah,
If you, especially if you have an autoimmune disease.
so you're prepared to get it, and you want to share what your thoughts are on your treatment, what you're going to do?
With regards to getting the
Getting
vaccine,
right.
well, first of all, always check with your physician with regards to holding any medications that you may be on when you get your vaccine. But I don't really have any other preparation that I'm doing other than just to schedule it. I mean, that's
But are
really it.
you're not on infusion
I'm
medication?
not on an infusion medication, but I am on an injectable medication, Benlysta. So now, when I had COVID, I was asked. I did reach out to my rheumatologist to let her know that I did have COVID, and she suggested that that I hold my Benlysta. So I did hold my Benlysta when I was actively sick, and then I also had to. They did say to she did say to stay on my hydroxychloroquine. So I did stay on that consistently, but again, it's per your physician and your treatment plan on what you should do if you contract COVID.
Yeah, sure. So,
Yeah.
so we're all snowflakes.
Hmm.
Okay, we're all beautiful. Okay, but we're shaped a little bit different when it comes to lupus. So, most of us are on the Plaquenil, but some of us are on other things as well. So it's not a cutter decision as to what you should cut or add or any of that. So you need to have that conversation with your doctor. And I want you to be sure to stay off Mr. Google. Okay, and don't go out there searching around and getting that information. Your doctor is the one who's treating you. He's the one who best one to have this conversation with. Whether it be flu vaccines
Right.
or COVID, please don't play doctor. You don't have a degree. At least I don't think you do.
Yeah.
Um,
And there is a new vaccine for RSV, which is a different respiratory virus. In general, most adults who are healthy are okay if they're exposed to RSV. However, if you do have an autoimmune disease, if you're older, if you're a young child, you're more susceptible. So again, as Suzanne said, we're all snowflakes. We're all different. You need to talk to your doctor about, any vaccine, RSV, flu, COVID, any vaccine.
Right. So I actually did get COVID. Would tease my husband that he built a moat around the house. I couldn't come. I couldn't go. And then finally, when we thought it was all over, like Adrienne and I went to
Same place, Cape
same
Cod.
place,
Went to Cape
and I
Cod.
drove, so I wasn't on a plane. I was in my car by myself, and I came back with COVID. And I have to say, my journey with that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. They did have a post medication that you could take, but I understand that the medication now that they're giving post, and I don't have a name for it. Does anybody know
Are
what
you
it was?
talking about Paxlovid?
Paxlovid, or
Uh-huh.
there was another one as
Oh,
well.
the monoclonal antibody.
Yeah. They're not
can't think of
as
the name of it.
receptive as to giving it this time around. And I
Um,
don't know why. So you want to check with your doctor on that
yeah,
one
check
too.
with your doctor. I'm
Don't
not
think
sure
you're
the
just going to get
monoclonals.
COVID and you're going to be able to
I
take a
don't know about the
medication that's going to
monoclonals.
don't think
help
they're
you.
FDA.
So there's been some challenges out there with some of these medications. The more we do, the more we learn. The more people that are involved in these medications and the more history we get, the smarter everybody gets. So I just want to make sure that you're aware that there is an uptick in COVID,
Mhm.
whatever we're going to call it this year, and to have a conversation with your doctor. We just finished the Walk 10 Lupus now, and I think maybe 10 out of 400 and some people had a mask. Um, we were outside. If you're going to be in close quarters, really think about it. Think about putting your mask on, and for God's sake, wash your hands. And I just want you to know that respiratory issues are very serious to lupus patients. Our ability to fight these types of things are very, very difficult and could be deadly. I'm not kidding. So be cautious, be careful, and if you need any of us for any reason, if you want to talk to Adrienne about her journey with this, or we have another staff member too, she has lupus, and I can tell you as their boss employer here, they were out for a long time. It really took them a long time to bounce back. Not like last round of COVID where it was like 10 days, 12 days.
Yeah.
It took them almost a month to bounce back, and they're still struggling.
And to that point, just comparatively, our families, especially my husband and my two children, bounced back very quickly and tested negative very quickly. I held on to my positive test for a much longer period of time and all of the complications that went with having COVID. So it was very apparent in our house that I was the person with lupus and that
Right.
they were not.
A good
Yeah.
example on autoimmune disease, your immunity is not the same as someone who has healthy immunity. So part of your immune system is attacking healthy cells and tissues. And if you're on medications, also to try to suppress some of that, the autoantibodies, which are attacking healthy cells and tissues, that means you don't always have regular, normal, healthy antibodies to attack viruses. So as a result, having an autoimmune disease, it takes your immune system longer to get rid of a virus. And if you're on medications that suppress your immune system, it'll make it even harder for your immune system to take care of a virus or a bacteria. So that is a good example, Adrienne, that it took you so much longer,
Yeah.
where your family members, your husband and your children who didn't have autoimmune issues
Yeah.
were able to bounce back quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think my daughter that had the vaccine more recently because she was traveling abroad this summer. So she had gotten a vaccine to keep her safe. She didn't show any symptoms. I'm sure she probably had it, but she didn't have any symptoms. And then my other daughter had mild symptoms, and my husband had, it pretty significantly, but bounced back much quicker than I did. And they all got negative tests very quickly. So as
Yeah.
opposed to me. So
And I think it's a good idea if you buy some of these self-home test kits. Now, keep in mind, in the past, we were able to get them free from
you
many,
can.
many.
They just came
So
out.
September
did?
Yeah.
25th,
Oh, good.
I just put it
the
in.
government on cdc.gov/COVID, I think. You can go in and order 4 free test kits.
Okay, that's great
For your
to know
household.
because they're more expensive than they were before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if there is an expiration date on the test kit, it has been extended, so you can feel safe to use it.
Oh,
Yes.
great. That's great. So again, keep a couple in your house, and before you return back to the population, make sure you retest yourself because, like I said, some of the staff people here, it was 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, and they were still seeing little pink lines. So you don't want to get other people sick either. You don't want to be responsible for that, and we need to watch out for each other. Um, as always, we're here for you if we can help in any way. Education is power for you, okay? The smarter you are, the weller you will be. And that's what we do here at the foundation. Our goal is to educate you in your journey, help navigate it. Rita's here with her team that can help you. We're getting ready for some calls again. The navigators are
Yes.
going to be calling you.
In October.
Pick up the phone.
Later in
They
October.
don't want to sell you anything. They just want to know how you are. Do you need anything? We want you to stay really connected with us. We're finishing up our calendar year and we're starting off our new calendar year, trying to plan programs and events. If there's something in particular you'd like to learn or hear about or participate in, just give us a call or you can visit us at www.lupusgreaterohio.org or you can send Alex an email at info@lupusgreaterohio if you'd like to share your story with us and be a guest with me here on our Lupus Living Room. I'd love to sit with you and have a chat. And I mean that. Everyone's story has a great value. We learn so much more from each other. And back to my favorite saying, there's no I in lupus, but there is the word us. Thank you for participating in all the programs we did this year. I want to thank Rita for her team. She just wrapped up the year with doing continuing ed hours for medical professionals
Yes.
with a partnership with Metro. And I want to thank Adrienne for putting together the Metro Health Summit that we just had at Metro Hospital. And poor Alex, you can't see my damn guy in the back over here, my digital asset manager. He has all the tools to keep us connected. And if you haven't seen a copy of our latest digital magazine, let us know. Or you can see it it should be on our website about now. And we're here for you. We want to communicate with you. We're going to continue to build our lupus community and fight the fight for lupus. Until tomorrow or the next time we meet, I hope you have a wonderful week. And remember, we're here again. Thank you, ladies, for being on my Lupus Living Room. And as always, consult with your doctor about the conversation we just had. Do not take anything upon yourself. All right. Thank you very much and have a great day. Remember, there is no I in lupus, but there is an us. Until next time, this has been my Lupus Living Room with the Lupus Foundation of America's Great Ohio Chapter. For more information and resources to help you in your lupus journey, please visit lupusgreaterohio.org or call 1-888-NO-LUPUS. The funding for my Lupus Living Room is an earmark from the state of Ohio and managed by the Ohio Department of Health. Your physician is the best person to help you in the treatment of lupus. The information you learn here today can be discussed with your doctor, as your physician knows your medical history best. Please do not make any medical changes without consulting your physician first. As with any treatment, stay educated and get information from trusted sources.